Personal tax and company tax filing dates. When you're an individual and you own your own limited company, sometimes those lines are fairly blurry and often people get confused with what date am I filing things, or do I just have to do it once? Well, the answer is you have to do it twice. You've got your personal tax return that you have to fill in and your company tax return. So let's look at a hypothetical date for now. Obviously the fixed date is the personal tax year. That starts on a completely random date of the 6th of April every year. No idea why HMRC chose that, but they did. And then it ends on the 5th of April the following year. So that's your calendar year for you as an individual for personal tax. Now, when do you then have to make your filing? If you have to complete a tax return, check with your accountant first whether you do. It could be you're a director, you've got rental income, you've got investments or savings, other things that will build towards having a tax return to be completed. If you're a normal PAYE employee below £100,000 income, you probably don't need to complete a return. You can complete voluntary returns, but it probably isn't compulsory. So just check before jumping through hoops and actually filling one in without the need to. But assuming you do have to fill one in, that's your dates, so from the 6th to the 5th every year. You then have a period of time up until the 31st of January the following year to fill your tax return in. You have to do that digitally these days. You can't just send paper or through snail mail anymore. So as soon as you get to this point, often what will happen is you'll have a questionnaire sent by your accountant, or you can go online to HMRC and fill in your tax return. In order to do that, you'll need a lot of information. Your income you've had, your P60, P11D, any other savings or investment returns you've had, just to collate all the data through. Fairly straightforward, but often best delegated to an accountant. But that's the date. 31st of January is the filing deadline for anyone who does a tax return the year after the tax year. Now looking at company tax. It doesn't sit at the same line as the personal tax. So the typical dates that you'll have, you can change them, but they are from the date you formed your company to the date 12 months thereafter. So let's say we've got 22nd of April this year, and it goes all the way through to the 21st of April the following year. That's your defined dates you've got, but that could be June, August, could be any old time frame. Same kind of logic applies here. You've got 9 months to fill in or return your tax return. You do have to do two things differently though when you're a company. At this point here, you have to file something called an annual return, or it's now called a PSC, so Personal Service Compliance Statement. So you have to complete that here at this point. That's not an accounting thing, it's more for Companies House. Your accounts have to be filed within 9 months thereafter though. You can do it quickly, or up until the last minute, I wouldn't recommend that. Often accountants will probably have them ready and filed with all the digital accounting we now have using Xero, Free Agent, QuickBooks. They'll probably have them prepared 3 to 4 months after your year end. But definitely get them in before the 9 months, otherwise you get fines and penalties. Fines and penalties, nobody wants that. Some of them can be quite aggressive as well. If you miss this deadline, it's £100 a month for every month you've missed it. These can rise, if you go a year in, it can be over £1,500. Definitely avoid that. That's the filing deadlines for personal tax and company tax.